All right, so for worksheet 02, again, remember this is going along with our summer packet. So this is number 1 from the summer packet. Remember, again, this is no calculator. And a big battle, guys, in mathematics is making sure you understand the directions. So make sure that you know what we mean when we say solve each of the following equations and then clear fractions if necessary. So that just needs to be something that's automatic, is that you practice directions as well. Okay, so here we go. Step 1. When you get you're trying to get x by itself, right? And so you want to think, I want x to be by itself and I want the 12 to go away. So the work that you're going to see me do and just organize is the following. So I'm going to subtract 12 on both sides. And I like to just draw a line and kind of keep it nice, neat, and organized. And adding and subtracting 12 cancels, right? That's the whole idea. You don't usually see me drawing that cancel, but they just go away. That's what's happening. So you're left with x on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, 7 minus 12 is negative 5. And there's my answer for x. And that's exactly how you can show your work. X equals negative 5. All right, number 3 from the summer packet. Well, we have options. We want you to be kind of comfortable both ways. So if you're somebody who's what I call thinking smart, and you're like, I want my y to be positive, right now that's a negative y. Well, guess what, guys? I can move variables as well. I'm going to say plus y and plus y. I'm doing the same thing on both sides. I like to draw my line. And negative y and y are canceling out. So again, those are going away. 4 is what's left on this side. And then be careful, y and 8 are not like terms. So this really is just y plus 8. I put the variable first because that's what most people prefer. 8 plus y is the same as y plus 8. Okay, now if I want to get the y by itself, that means I need to get rid of 8. So I'm going to subtract 8 on both sides. Again, you can draw that line if it helps you to cancel. And therefore, that means y is what's left over here, and 4 minus 8 is negative 4. And you should be comfortable with negative 4 equaling y being the same thing as y equaling negative 4. Now, let's show you an alternative. Okay, so let's just write 4 minus y equals 8. Okay, if you're just really comfortable, you're just adamant about leaving the y on that side, well, then maybe you're going to start by saying subtract 4 on both sides. That's fine. You need to understand how these work. Notice it's not a y, though. It's a negative y you have on that side. And 8 minus 4 is 4. Okay? Well, then you need to be comfortable with this as well. The number that's sitting in front of this y right here is a negative 1. We don't write it in math, but that's what's happening. So now if I want to get rid of that negative, I've got to divide both sides by a negative 1. Okay? And when you do that, negative over negative is positive, so now this becomes positive y equals 4 divided by negative 1. Positive over negative is negative, so there's the negative 4, and therefore you now have the same answer. All right, so make sure that you know both ways, but thinking smart, go with whatever's going to make the most sense to you. Okay. All right, number 10 from the summer packet then. All right, we want to get used to clearing fractions. So maybe let's take care of that part first. That's what we do in upper level mathematics. So I want to make this a fraction first thing to make that a little bit easier. Remember, you can make anything a fraction by putting it over 1. Okay. What you want to do, guys, is get the common denominator for every fraction. So there are 3 fractions in this entire problem. The common denominator for 8 and 1 is 8. So I'm going to put big parentheses and say I'm multiplying by 8 over 1 out front to clear those fractions. Now, if you're comfortable enough clearing it this way, okay, and able to do this verbally, then you'll be fine with this. Okay, so let's see what you think about this. What you really need to do is distribute this to all 3 of those terms. All right, So 8 goes into 8 once, and 1 times 1 is 1. All right, multiply negative 6 times 8 is going to be negative 48 times the x will be negative 48x. 8 goes into 8 once, and 1 times negative 47 is negative 47. Now, friends, if you have done this correctly, you should have no fractions in your very first step, okay? Here's a side note. If you cannot just distribute that, then my suggestion is going to be that you put 8 over 1 times each of these. So I'm going to write it this way for you. There's one of your options, okay? Quickly, just to show you to the same step, you would say 8 goes into 8 once, into 8 once, 1 over 1 times 1 over 1, 1. Minus 8 times 6x is 48x. And over here, 8 into 8 once, 8 into 8 once, and 1 times negative 47, negative 47. Okay, so you go with whichever works for you. I'm going to go back to now what I was doing on the first example because they'll be the same. And now at this point, it's you do you, kind of like the last example. You want to move the x's, or do you want to move the 47s, the 1, whatever it is. I'm going to say let's make this positive. I want my x to be positive by adding 48x. Okay, those go away. I've got 1. Remember, x's and constants are not like terms, so this is now 48x minus 47. Now I want to isolate the x, so I want the 47 to go away. If we add 47 to both sides, those go away, and I've got 48 equals 48x. Okay, you want this multiplication to go away, so the opposite operation is divide by 48, and I'll change the color just so it's easier to see. Of course, those cancel, and you're left with 1 equals x. So x equals 1. Same thing. We'll box that and move on our merry way. All right, 16 from the summer packet. Remember, the first thing you've got to do is distribute. So if you distribute both of those, you would have 12 minus 15x plus 2 equals negative 16. If we combine like terms before we move things around, I'd have negative 15x, and the 12 and the 2 give you 14. All right, this time I'm going to play the game of I want the x to stay on the left. Okay, so my choice is going to be subtract 14 from both sides. That would cancel, so negative 15x equals negative 30. If it's easier to see, changing colors, I need this multiplication to go away by dividing, so divide by negative 15. And once again, those are canceling. Okay, so you're left with x equals negative divided by negative is positive. 30 divided by 15 is 2. Box your answer. And you are home free. All right, number 18. Ooh, x's are on both sides. So x was only on one side on all of those others. But now if x is on both sides, this is again what I say thinking smart. Would you rather subtract 2x from 4x because you just want it to be positive? Or would you rather subtract 4x from 2x because you want the x to be on the left? You do you. I like to think most people like the x to be positive. So I am going to say let's subtract 2x from both sides. Just one thing at a time. Draw that line. And therefore, on this side, I'm left with 3. On this side, I have 2x minus 5. So I want to isolate the x again, so I want the 5 to go away. So I'll add 5 to both sides. That's gone. And now I have 8 equals 2x. I want to undo that multiplication by dividing by 2. Again, those cancel. And 4 equals x, or x equals 4. All right, so therefore you've got that homework, just those 8 problems due at the start of class. Please practice showing all of those steps. Good luck.